Gemini, welcome to your April 2022 General Tarot reading. It's Raina here. I don't have any lights on. I'm just relying on natural light, and it's overcast, so it's probably not the best idea, but I don't know. It might work out. It's funny, I got that same card in that same exact position for Sagittarius. Get all these romantic cards. I want you to see, even though you probably know what this is, the High Priestess. I can't really. Oh, there's Sagittarius' card. I'm just leaning my tripod against the desk and trying to get in. It's not going to work. Anyway. The heart of the matter is the Ace of Swords. This is a card of being able to see a situation with a clear mind. And typically this is going to be if there's some kind of deception that is around you, or you have been sticking your head in the sand about something for a while, and maybe there's an event or an epiphany that you have that makes you see exactly what you're dealing with. And let me think here. In the month of, that could even be a love situation, because there's a lot of romantic cards around here. In April, there's going to be a full moon in Libra, okay? And Libra is another air sign, but it's the air sign in front of you, and that's the 5th house, and that's the house of love. So if you've been dating somebody and you find something out about them, that could be the time, because the full moon can be when secrets come out, and that can make you realize that you're dealing with someone who you didn't think that you didn't know who they were. And it doesn't have to be that they're cheating necessarily. Of course, that's always what we think of first. It could even be that they tell you, I was abused when I was young. And you realize, wow, they're always kind of, they always seem like they don't want to really commit to the relationship, or, just something about their behavior that you might have even blamed on yourself. And you find out it's really because of their past trauma and maybe their trust issues. So you can feel a little bit better. That could actually make you feel better in certain cases. In the past position, we have the 9 of Wands, and this is a card of having your defenses up, maybe setting boundaries. And so that can be accompanying the central theme of having a new mindset, because you may realize that you have allowed something in your life with another person that you shouldn't have allowed. And you have to remember that this is not necessarily related to love, although I do think some of these cards are romantic. It could be like work related too, that you have been allowing yourself to be taken advantage of at work, and you kind of realize, I have to be the one who sets those boundaries. They're not going to do it. They're going to, take me for whatever they can get from me if I allow it. So what am I going to do to flip that script so that I have that sense of empowerment, and I'm not just playing the victim of somebody else's behavior, that I actually have some kind of agency or sovereignty here. Oh, but sometimes too, it can be that, like I said, maybe there's somebody who is keeping their walls up, and you might blame yourself, but it's really something that's going on with them, and you find that out, or you're doing that, and you need to understand why you're acting that way. The higher message is the Ace of Cups, and that kind of goes along with this as well, because this is new love. If you want new love, this is kind of the spiritual message. If you want new love, you might have to do new things. You might have to change how you are operating in a situation because you're not getting the results that you want. So change your behavior and you change the situation automatically. It's not even like a possibility. It's a given that's going to shift the energy once you change what you do. But it's hard to do that because people tend to be very habitual in their actions. So they just keep repeating things over and over again and hoping that they're going to, yield different results, and they don't, I mean, how can they? What crosses you is the Knight of Cups. In some cases, this can be almost like a childish kind of notion of what love is, where you think it's just the Harlequin romance. I never know, is it Harlequin or Harlequin? I always say Harlequin. And, it's kind of like overly idealized, overly romanticized. A lot of times when I have done like personal readings, like love readings using the astrological chart, you can see a person having a hard angle to Venus and Neptune, like a square opposition, or even a conjunction. Come to think of it, even something that's positive, because there's that love of the ideal situation, in this case love, and there's that feeling that love is supposed to be this, it's like kind of the Hollywood version of love, rather than the realistic situation, which is much more about the day-to-day existence between two people. And if you really were to embrace that and not think of it as a bad thing, it could be like an amazing thing. But that means you have to get out of that mentality that somebody's going to rescue you, somebody's going to love you enough so that you can love yourself. It really doesn't work that way. People can reflect your good qualities, but you have to do the work, the inner work about your own self-esteem. And, usually Geminis, I would never say that to, but some of you have like inner planets in Cancer, for instance, where you might have a greater need for reassurance. And your moon sign can be anything. It could be Pisces, it could be Cancer, it could be Libra, and you might just be very wanting of acceptance from somebody else, thinking that that's your key to high self-esteem. Now, it's an inside job. Speaking of which, the High Priestess, what's coming in is tuning into that part of yourself, that higher self that is always connected to God. I mean, you could say we are connected to God at all times, but we have this mundane piece of ourselves that operates in the third dimensional existence. And then we have a higher self that we're not necessarily, some people who are more awakened, they may constantly be aware of their higher self in a very outer kind of, a very obvious kind of way. But many of us, we can imagine it, but we're not necessarily accessing it moment to moment with our thoughts and our actions. So by doing that, you put things in the spiritual context instead of the material context, because the Ace of Cups is about love coming from the heart chakra. And believe it or not, a lot of people are not coming from there. They're coming from other things, lust or wanting to be taken care of. And this is more about wanting to be wanting to love someone in in a deep way, not in some kind of a overly romanticized way, but from a place of like kind of like kindred spirits types of a place. And the outcome is the Temperance card. This is connected to Sagittarius. Maybe it will be a Sagittarian. Not me, I'm off the market, but it's 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on land. The practical and the spiritual. Not to get too caught up in one over the other. So that Knight of Cups in reverse could be more of that spiritualized version of what you think love is, but it's not the day-to-day practical thing. And you have to include that in your in what it is that you're looking for. So for a Gemini person, it would be somebody who is very who has like a where it's a meeting of the minds with you, because you love to talk, and you have to talk with somebody who has a brain in their head. You're not going to do very well. Or somebody who likes to talk. They might be intelligent, but in a quiet kind of a way. That might be torture to you because you like to talk so much. So, really tune into all of who you are, and, be ready to receive. Don't allow, like the 9 of Wands, this wall to be up so that you're kind of keeping yourself aloof from others, and really see what's going on. And that's what the Ace of Swords is all about. Okay, that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you'd like a private reading, I'm mainly an astrologer. I do the tarot because it's a popular genre, and I do private tarot readings too, but I do a lot more natal chart interpretations and looking at the transits, the energy for the coming year. I have like a double reading that covers all the bases called Deep Dive Reading. I have a reading that looks at your natal chart, but also the tarot, like full-length readings called the Whole Enchilada. And both of those readings, those double readings, are at a reduced price because you're buying 2 at the same time. So you can check out all of the types of readings I offer. My throat. I got a frog in my throat all of a sudden. At rainandmoonastrology.com. The link is below. Take care. Bye.